Well, Molly, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Great.
How was your weekend?
No, it's okay.
Yeah? Nice.
Come see, come sir. How was yours too?
I spent my weekend in Sunyani.
Wow, that was a great time. I believe.
My husband lost his dad.
Oh, your in-law?
Yes,
your father-in-law. My condolences once again. May so rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
You were really immense in the funeral activities.
I was.
All right. That was a good one. Good work you went to do.
Let's do the newspapers. If you just join us, obviously you missed the news, but you made it in good time for the newspapers. So we'll run through what's in the headlines. Quite a number of papers, but missing is the Daily Graphic newspaper. So we'll do the papers that we have. Let's begin with the Ghanaian Times newspaper. 500 kilometers Lubo Aflao Railway in pipeline as part of Trans-ECOWAS transportation projects. Government securing funding for uncompleted infrastructure projects. President Akufo-Addo mourns Mugabe. National Labour Commission summons Nagrats over strike. Boy arrested in connection with death of girl 8 is also another story. A bit of it is on the front page of the paper. Back page, Kotoko Hearts Press Cup match rescheduled for today. Black Queens thrash female Hawks. These are the two sport stories. I was going to say football-related stories on the back page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. In the center spread, well, details of the stories on the front page by way of headline, but GIS, 60 officers of the Ghana Immigration Service are today beginning 3 weeks of counter-terrorism training in the eastern region. That story is in the center spread of the paper. Let me continue with the Finder and then Roland will come in. Front page of the Finder, one district, one factory, fertilizer factory opens. President urges private sector to partner government to revolutionize agric. Also, Akufo-Addo to outline major strides in anti-corruption fight today. CSOs walk to demand passage of affirmative action bill. Collins Dauda caught in vitriolic tribal politics again. This is on page 2 in the paper today. That will be by way of headlines. What's on the front page of the Finder, Roland?
Right, let's go to the front page of the Daily Guide. Has PDS milks ECJ to pay $12 million guarantee. Has an attached picture of PDS boss William Hutton Mensah. And also attached there we have engineer Samuel Boachiapia. Nana opens another fertilizer factory. Otumfuo visits World Bank, and that's on the front page. We go to the back page. Banku records first away win. We're told that that's his first time, the first fight he's having outside
the
or
country,
in Europe.
yeah.
Or in Europe, I should be more specific. Minister inspect whole Bankueba. Minister inspect whole multipurpose center, and Kotoko Hearts President Cup rained off. All set for Ghana China golf. Okay, and we have other stories as well. Okay, you want to look at that?
I have the Ghanaian Observer, so let's do the Ghanaian Observer. Deputy Minister Schools Dutch Ambassador says fighting corruption is central to Ghana Beyond Aid vision. You know, I'm just thinking, sometimes when somebody says something, can we just say thank you? You know? President Akufo-Addo to outline, all right, we have this showing on the screen. Okay, President Akufo-Addo to outline major strides in national anti-corruption fight. Mahama did nothing for Northerners. Reject him. That's a call by the NPP regional chairman. Ghana begins exporting food to neighboring countries, according to the president. Fight corruption devoid of politics. That's a call by Citizen Watch. This story about Ghana exporting food to neighboring countries is a curious one, isn't it? Trying to see where the full story is. And then I'll probably share more than just the headline with you. Roland?
Yeah, so let's go to the Daily Dispatch newspaper. And the Dispatch has on the front page analysis of population in Greater Accra. And it says Akans 39%, Ga Dangbase 27%, it was 20%. And then we have the chart of religious groups in Greater Accra as well. Just statistics for you to get to know the country that you come from, you live in. Government and media reject reports of PDS consultant. Front page of the Dispatch still. Alex Mould on government's act of deception in PDS fiasco. And Heritage Bank is the only sovereign bank that lost its license, according to Agongo. Okay, we know that he's in court currently. Let's do the new publisher. The new publisher has on the front page 11 prostitutes arrested in Tamale. Woman 51 enrolls for free SHS. Akufo-Addo lists gains in corruption fight. Weak bridge kills 5 in Sogakopa. We're told that that bridge is at its weakest stage currently. Needs some tightening up or some work to be done on it. Set up by partisan probe into PDS minority. All right, Mamavi, you have, you don't have, okay. So we have a couple here.
All yours.
Okay, so we have the Economy Times. The Economy Times has on the front page, government plans to raise 14.3 billion Ghana cedis from local markets. That's the Economy Times. Has an attached picture of the Finance Minister, Ken Oforiatta. Government will also announce new cocoa price by October 1. That'll be next month. Just Alex Mould again is occupying the front page. The Gold Street Business. The Gold Street Business has its main story. 14.34 billion Ghana cedis to be issued on domestic market in the next 3 months. And India textile manufacturers considering setting up plants in Ghana. Electronic payments replacing checks, ATMs, we're told. Okay. On the back page of the Gold Street Business, Airtel Tigo bid farewell to CEO Metwa Kamba Ngambi. Mohinani Group wins Made in Ghana awards. Okay, Mohinani Group. Let's look at the Daily Statesman newspaper. Has on the front page, checkmate Washington. U.S. pushes to seal MCA compact as government urges public to wait for final PDS report. The Daily Statesman is saying Collins Dauda incites Northerners against MPP and the MPP to register all volunteer groups. And it has an attached picture of Samuel Euku on the back page. England's young players should get chance to become hardened in qualifiers. The back page of the Daily Statesman says that England's young players should get the chance to become battle-hardened in qualifiers. We know that the qualifiers for Euros started. World Cup and the rest. Mo Farah, Britain wins record 6th Great North Run. It's still growing strong. So what's his age now? 36 years. Yeah. It looks like those who run the marathon, the older they get, the better they become. Okay. Mama V.
I'm looking. Are you done? Are you done with the papers
yes, I
that
am,
you're looking at?
I am,
okay.
I am.
So I have the Ghanaian Times newspaper. A 12-year-old boy who's been arrested by the police in connection with the murder of an 8-year-old girl whose naked body was found in the bush, a place in the whole municipality. Details of the story, page 3 in the paper. So, you know, fast forward, the police commander cautioned parents to be watchful over their children at all times. But, you know, the suspect, the person they've arrested, confessed to killing the girl with support from the 12-year-old boy, and the suspect led the police to arrest the boy. So this is a 33-year-old carpenter, according to the story, who's confessed to killing this 8-year-old, but said he got support from a 12-year-old who's also now been arrested. It's a bit not clear, but according to the police, the girl's mother has sent her to town to buy her, so essentially sent her to town to buy her something late in the afternoon on Monday. but she failed to return home. An effort to trace her proved futile. Subsequently, her mother reported the matter to the police. The police assisted the woman to contact various radio stations in the municipality to announce the issue on air. And then on Wednesday, the girl's mother returned to the police station to inform the police that the body of the girl was found in the bush near the house. The police proceeded to the scene and found the naked body of Yawa or Yawa Ajima under a tree. The body has been taken to the whole teaching hospital for preservation and autopsy. Well, so these are just the details that they give in the story. I guess there's a lot more to this, but basically a carpenter 33-year-old confessing to killing an 8-year-old and points to a 12-year-old as an accomplice who's also been arrested. That's a bit unclear in my mind, but we'll see how the story goes. Still on page 3, stories related to crime. Man jailed 4 years for stealing businessman's money. Man in trouble for allegedly assaulting sanitation officer. And this is interesting because of our Clean Ghana campaign. A man in his mid-50s in Tema Newtown in the Greater Accra region was last Thursday arraigned before the Tema Sanitation and Motor Court for allegedly assaulting a sanitation officer. Kwashi Amuzuvi, accused, pleaded not guilty to the charge of assault on public officer and was granted 4,000 Ghana cedis bail with one surety by the court presided over by Mr. Joseph McAlee Jr., a Tema District Court judge. Prosecutor Mr. Emmanuel Young told the courts that on August 23, a health officer visited and inspected the premises of Amuzuvi at U Compound, the suburb of Tema, Newtown, and questioned him on a heap of refuse, which he refused to answer. Mr. Young said that the sanitation officer interacted with Ami Dagadu, the wife of Amuzuvi, but that infuriated the accused, who verbally assaulted him using unprintable language and threatening to slap him. The son of Amuzuvi, Samuel Amuzuvi, who is the second accused, also threatened to instruct his dogs to attack the officer. According to Young, the dogs, which had not been vaccinated, had been let to roam in the vicinity, posing danger to residents. A complaint was subsequently lodged at the police station, and the sanitation officer and Amuzuvi were apprehended. Okay, so bottom, I guess the whole issue with this story, the reason I find it interesting is because if a sanitation officer comes to your premises, wherever, and you decide not to heed to what they say to you, but you decide to assault them, whether physical assault or verbal, you know, you'll be taken to court and charged.
Yeah.
And this family at the center of this, they got a 4,000 Ghana cedis. They've actually been granted bail, which means that the case is not complete yet, but at least 4,000 cedis Ghana, 4,000 Ghana cedis bail with a surety. That's something that, you know, you could have stopped yourself from getting into this situation in the first place. There's also a story about a woman drowns in water reservoir at Anomabo. A 45-year-old woman identified as Mami Ajua slipped and drowned in the reservoir where she attempted to fetch water, leading to her death at Anomabo in the Central Region on Thursday. So Ms. Eric Arthur, Central Regional Director of Communications, NATMO, confirmed the tragedy to the Ghana News Agency. He said his outfit, together with the Ghana National Fire Service, received distress on Thursday morning and rushed to the scene, only to find the woman dead in the reservoir, which was filled to capacity. That's really sad. Yeah,
really sad. I think in relation to the subject of what punitive measures should be taken against those who flout regulations on sanitation, and those that are implemented, especially by the AMA and other MMDA sanitation courts, would be more holistic if it is implemented alongside behavioral change communication actions, so that at the same time, while we intend making sure that we use the law to serve as deterrent, there's also a certain consciousness on the part of us as citizens to change our behavior, because ultimately it will serve as deterrent, but a lot more resources goes into setting up the courts and even making sure the processes of prosecution ultimately goes on. This could only be giving the the needed highlight if, of course, it's published and everybody gets to know that somebody has been punished one way or the other. But we all need to have a certain conscious mindset that we need to change our behavior towards waste and the way we tend to collect waste, the way we tend to dispose of waste. It is very important. We know we're doing all this campaign. We started last week. Of course, we're going to have some discussion today on the subject. But at the end of the day, we have to work within our respective communities, within the households that we have, to ensure that we improve the situation of waste. It's a big issue. Waste in other countries, it's a big resource. So, but the way we tend to generate the waste is a big problem by way of if the waste companies want to disaggregate the type of waste that is generated at the end of the day to ensure that we have the resource. So,
you know, traveling from Kumasi to Sunyani over the weekend, I noticed something. That the refuse dumps, the dump place is where the public toilet also is. So you find the toilet and you find the refuse dump just right behind it. I mean, whose idea was that?
That's the traditional way that we used to dispose of waste. And I remember growing up in Ashama, that used to be where the public toilet is.
That's where
that's
main
where usually
dump is.
So you find some it's not like the big landfill, but the community dump, so to speak. And that is where everybody collects the waste in whatever containers from their homes and go and dump. And then you even find that it is burnt. Okay? But the world is moving away from this means of waste disposal. Now they are educating themselves in the more developed countries to ensure that the waste that is first generated at home, is disposed of in such a way that when it's collected, you can easily turn them into something that is more resourceful. And that's big business, because ultimately, apart from the money that will be made, people will be employed by the waste companies and through the processes of the actions that are done by the plants that are set up, etc. And I'm hoping that we'll get there. We're told that we spend a lot of money in waste disposal, its collection and its management. But once the behavior doesn't change, it is not complementary.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was also thinking that, you know, once we punish people within the community, the news would go round. So it doesn't even have to be traditional media publishing the fact that somebody has been punished. But once within the community, especially within smaller areas, when people hear that, hey, that man, you know, Roland, who lives so and so and so and so,
has been punished because
he's been fined for doing this, you know, people will learn from that.
Yeah.
Such experiences also help.
I don't know whether if we also empower, let's say, maybe the chiefs or the chief's palace or that kind of structure to complement what we have with the sanitation court.
Oh, absolutely. There's one example, and I don't remember which particular chief, but in Kumasi. And this story, either a Hemming or a Rasta, sometime last week, the chief was cautioning that if people didn't do the right thing,
because they have the responsibility.
And they were dumping close to a school, you know, and so he said that if any person came to him with whoever to beg for him to go and beg the authorities, he would not. He would get his men to arrest them and hand them over to the police.
Yeah.
Can't quite remember, but this is definitely
So if we empower them, then it also gives them the responsibility.
They're empowered already.
They're empowered.
I mean, they're empowered already.
Then they need to take up that
powerful
responsibility to complement the actions by the sanitation courts in the various MMDAs.
Yeah.
I think it will go a long way to help all of us have a cleaner environment, but even a more resourceful waste that is generated, so that its management becomes easier for whichever entities or the waste management companies to have anything to grapple with at all.
Yeah. I told you I was in Sunyani over the weekend,
yes.
right? So yesterday we went for the Thanksgiving. The Thanksgiving, the Pentecost Church in Sunyani.
That's where the memorial service was held.
Yes. And it was a Children's Day, apparently, and the children came to recite poems, and they had Bible verses to also say. And one of the little cute girls, said a poem about sanitation, about keeping your environment clean. And I was sitting there, I was listening. She was talking about very basic things. I was wondering, are parents really listening to her? Like, are people really listening to what she's saying? Or they are happy about the way, you know, she was essentially, because, you know, some people are clapping and everything, but are they really listening to the content of what you're saying, or they're excited that you're able to flow well?
Exactly.
Yeah. So the education, I realize, is ongoing everywhere around us, but are we really listening and doing?
That's the point.
You know, what,
That's the point. So that monies just don't go down the drain, paying for airtime and doing all those sketches in the schools, etc.
Yeah. There's a story in the Finder, unless you have something that you want to talk about real quick.
There was this story that's saying that electronic payments replacing checks and ATMs. And I do know that. And I remember last week, I made a post, it will be on Friday or Saturday. I had a post because on Thursday, there was this publication from the mobile companies and also the Bank of Ghana giving all indications that from last year up to the half of this year, we've had about 140 billion Ghana cedis circulating within the platforms of mobile money. Last year, for example, MTN posted for 2018 33 billion.
Yeah.
Okay, that's scary. And I said,
you said scary?
Yeah, for the banks. Because, you know, in normal corporate structure and the way the marketing is done, banks traditionally have done business through brick and mortar structures. They have a building, they want you to come and interface, etc. And they don't even do 24 hours in a way, banking that is, in our part of the world, that is more convenient. But mobile money does that, you see. If the companies want to integrate further what they are doing, it also means that many of the banks will lose out. Yeah. And we have to find more innovative means by which we can include or embed the banking system seamlessly into those sort of transactions.
All right, this is where we have to end the review. You can always log on to myjoyonline.com, check out a lot more headlines. We have to make way for Benedict Owusu Dankwa. There's sports that we have to talk about. The Black Queens we have to talk about, thrashing the Hawks, but we also can't talk about Nadal winning his 19th,
U.S. Open.
No, not the 19th U.S. I
Grand
think it's the 4th U.S. Opener, I think.
19th Grand Slam. Exactly. I think that's what I heard on the BBC.
Yeah. So a lot more highlights. Benedict will bring that to you. A lot of action over the weekend. All of it right here on the AM.